We gotta have some bloopers. You ready? Is it ready? Welcome back, folks. I am so glad to give you guys another shop updates and or shop dates. It's been a second. We have been handling quite the change in atmosphere between some redesigns in the showroom to how we do things to, who our vendors are, how to get merchandise, how to distribute merchandise to you guys. So stay on the lookout. In the next month or so, we will have some merch that you guys can go and pick up for yourselves. Maybe we can get Todd to sign a few things and make it quite an interesting first merchandise release. But here in the shop right now, what's going on is we're looking to get a few new faces in the door while obviously finishing up some of these projects. We got Johnny Content on the 1965 Ford Mustang. He's helping wire the motor and throw on a few accessory pieces so we can get that started up. Then we got to do the interior and do a few odds and ends and test it out, and boom, that car is back on the road. We just had a customer drop off a 1937 Chevy Coupe, and it's been half restored through another shop, actually a friend of Todd's, and right now it's in the shop. It's still got a little bit of body work to do, but it's been painted, the engine's been ran through. We're actually going to have Jared run a borescope into the engine so we could see what's been done inside the engine, because the engine's been painted and it looks all nice. It's got fresh spark plugs and we're putting new wiring on it right now. It still had the old cloth wiring from, we assume, the 30s. I've been working on my personal favorite. We got a 1968 Dodge Dart that we threw a Hemi into, a 392 Hemi specifically. And I'm doing the buff and polish on the rear quarter panels so we can get the white pinstripe down the sides. It's a custom stripe set, so it's going to say Hemi and maybe 392 Hemi. If you guys stay up to date and or follow our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, it's all under Muscle Car Concepts. You will see the final product. We will show everyone. We try our best to make sure that nobody misses out on anything. We post on all platforms all the time. We're almost live streaming. We're just still finishing up this room. At some point I'd like to show you guys where we're at, but right now the camera's going to stay there. Right now we have Jesse working on the 1965 Pontiac GTO. He's finishing up the convertible top. Super cool to watch this man build that. It's going pretty smooth. He's got his own explanation video on how he's doing things, and that job will be pretty quick to finish up. And the 65 GTO was a insurance job. It's kind of sad, but it's not necessarily our style of work. I mean, obviously we do those things, but that's a tough situation because the customer doesn't want it to be perfect and the insurance doesn't want to pay for it to be top-notch, high quality. What happens is it ends up being a scuff and shoot, one where we just take the original body, scuff it up, throw some paint on it, which obviously came out really nice, but you still have some ripples, some dents and stuff that we didn't get the chance to take out and the customer didn't really feel like he wanted to pay for. It's a little different than what we want to do at the shop. I think we're stepping back from jobs like that because it doesn't really reflect the quality of work that we do. We're glad to help. Sometimes you just have to help someone if there's no one else that's willing to take that job in. I mean, it's getting to the point where to restore a classic correctly, fewer and fewer people actually know how to do it. So there's a lot of jobs that we get just simply because we're one of the only ones that knows how to do it in the Midwest to the quality that we do, and specifically in Lincoln, Nebraska. We had an 86 El Camino J-Rod was working on. He did a great job. We did some hinges on the doors and I believe a few things in the engine bay. Just kind of cleaned it up. It was the daily driver, so pretty good condition for being an 86. It was in and out pretty quickly. If you guys saw that, it would have been from Instagram. We post a ton of updates real life experiences inside the shop on our Instagram stories. That's like the everyday experience here in the shop, what stands out, the big moments, the cool moments, what everyone is working on that day. That'll give you insight for some of our bigger ideas. So if you see our Instagram stories, you'll have an idea of what our YouTube long forms will look like. If you like the long forms, if you're watching this, you love the stories. You got Clint Chapman, he's working on the 1974 Challenger, getting everything mocked up, making sure the body panel lines fit right, and right now he's scuffing the underside of the 74 Challenger because something Mopar did back in the day. I don't think they do it anymore, but they would spray the underside the same color as they would spray the top of the car. And so because Mopar went out of their way to make those small details, we're going to do the same. And so right now he's scuffing the underside so we can throw a primer on it, so then he could scuff it again and blocks in where he can, and that way the underside just looks that much nicer, that much better. And it goes a long ways when you take those extra steps to make a nice car. You know, the customer not only is an A1 customer, but he wants a really unique, cool idea that it kind of sounds like has sat with him for a long time. This is how we over deliver. That's a super cool restoration. That one's probably going to be my personal favorite, but it's not really to the stage where you can mentally and visually see the idea. So right now I'm going to say it's a 68 Dodge Dart. You can see that fat 392 Hemi in it, that Go Mango Orange, beautiful all day long. And it's a convertible. I'm not even into convertibles, but I love it. So we have Mike. Mike is working on the 1968 E-Type Jaguar. And when I say a basket case, this thing is rusted out, done incorrectly. It is a rough restoration, but it is what we do. So a good example of what's going on with this one is the front valance and the front bumper had holes in it from when it had been crashed, and they took a pry bar and pried out that metal. But the thing is, you're supposed to spot weld and clean up that bumper with metal to resurrect the quality. What the previous restoration team did, not here in the shop, but years back, is they just left the holes there, covered them with Bondo, which is not the way to do it, obviously. That's where you get structure issues, that's where you get integrity issues. And so this bumper had a bunch of ripples and dents and holes, and it was just covered with Bondo. That was just the front bumper. Not only has it taken them 2-3 weeks just to rebuild that correctly, but now as you take out the floor pans and the wheel wells, what you start to find is how incorrectly this thing was built. And you got things like in the wheel well where they had a patch that was just thrown on there. So you have the wheel well, and then you have the secondary wheel well, which was applied with Bondo. They put Bondo as glue, pushed it up against that one, pushed it, and then covered it with tar. And that was their way of hiding their incorrect methods. And so what happened is now that secondary panel, the fresh one, was right on top of the old rusty one. And that rust just, unless you eliminate it, it just keeps spreading. And so it damages the new piece. And now you have this big chunk of rusted out metal on top of 2 pieces of incorrectly combined metal. You run into tough restoration issues where you have to cut out bigger chunks than you normally need to. It's like a snowball. It's like, well, where did they do this correctly? They cut out pieces under the transmission tunnel that needed to be there and never added them back onto it. It's like, okay, you can't find these pieces because they're just half of every other piece that you would need. And so there's a lot of custom fabrication, a lot of custom hand-making parts that Mike is doing all by himself. Very impressive. It's on our stories. It's all over Instagram. We're going to document everything that we can and get him explaining how we do it and how he does it. Because if you're into fabrication, or you understand metalworking, or you are curious on how the restoration business is and how things are done, especially at a high-end shop that travels the world and has a very nice reputation for quality, it's very entertaining. And that leads me into what Jesse's also working on. We have a Chevy K10, and we're just doing the cab on that one, the cab and the front clip. Really nice customer. He's in the military. Shouts out to him. Yeah, we just got that back from sandblasting. The frame is pretty much going to be replaced, and just it's a simple fix. Cab corners, some of the flooring on it needs to be replaced, but it's just patches. And so Jesse's doing that. He's cutting, he's welding. and then we'll get that sealed up with some epoxy, get it into the body stage, and then paint, put the front clip on, drop it on the frame, salute the customer. That leaves me to Donny. We have a 1970 Chevelle. Right now the customer wants to take it to World of Wheels, travel the world with it. Really nice tri-coat. Think he's going red. I don't want to give too many details. I think he wants to leave it pretty open-ended to a final reveal-like experience. Golly, is this thing going to be beautiful. Big 502 motor. It's on the last stage of primer, and I do believe Donny is moving very quickly on it, so it might be in paint within the next week or two. We'll have to see what the paint booth is like and how things are lining up in terms of spray out. We just had the Cougar Eliminator go into the booth because on the quarter panels we were getting some reaction. The reaction was really delayed. It was like a few months after it had been sprayed. Something was stuck in the metal. Maybe some silicone. I don't know. We don't use silicone products, but something was in there. And so we tried to just sand it down and spray it, and we let it sit again, and it came back over time. And so now we had to take those certain spots back to metal, clean it, degrease it, and then apply the primer, make sure it's all block sanded correctly, and it just got resprayed. Kind of interesting. I mean, that's one of those situations where it's like we can send it out or we can do it right, and the customer doesn't pay for reworks, but our reputation, who we are, lies in that quality. And so that's something that I really respect about the shop, about Todd Auto, because you don't have to take the time to do things correctly. You can always just shoot them out and move on. Todd takes it personally. Nothing leaves the shop unless it's done right. And so this is what that looks like. This is one of those situations where you just have to keep tweaking things and find out what went wrong where and how to fix it, and then try to prevent it from happening again. I mean, if you're in the industry, you understand this is what it's like. Things happen. Paint doesn't get mixed correctly. Dirt finds its way in the paint. Issues with the clear coat, just something eventually happens. This is us troubleshooting. We did just hit 3,500 YouTube subscribers, every single one of you guys. Freaking round of applause. You're doing great. So thankful. We talk all the time about you guys, every single one of you, especially you. I'm talking to you. We talk about you all day long. Just you, though. Very thankful on a real note. We started this to hopefully make someone's day better, provide insight on the business, provide value while being entertaining. If you are watching this and you do enjoy this, we're very thankful. We're thankful that you enjoy it. We want to keep improving this thing so that it's something that not only you enjoy, but you talk about. It's to inspire interest and to remind people how cool it is to be in this industry, to be working on these cars, to see these cars on the road, the impacts it has on people, their families, their lives, how long people have dreamt up this idea, and to watch them physically change as they start to see this reality come into play. It is a life-changing experience that we experience here in the shop every day, all the time. And so we're doing our best to capture that on camera so that you guys at home can feel like you're a part of it. Thank you for watching the Shop Dates. Follow the Instagram. That's where you'll get the most exclusive, up-to-date content. Thank you guys. Stay blessed. Megan, what do you got to say? Put her on the spot, fellas. Go like, comment, subscribe.
Dude, follow the Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. Follow our Twitter.
LinkedIn.
Sure.
Indeed. If there's a platform, our name's on it.